listening to Sudbury News Talk.
I want to show you something.
Stand by. On the morning shift.
Anything
could happen.
Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift.
And we're live. CKLU 96.7 FM. Welcome everyone listening. CKLU.ca online. Welcome. And if you have the Radio Player Canada app, and Dad, if you're able to get your device working last night or this morning, welcome to you as well. Glad to have you back listening again. And all of you on Facebook Live, facebook.com/Sudbury News, and YouTube Live, youtube.com/Sudbury News. Yeah, YouTube. We just got that going recently and trying to figure all that out. It seems to be putting our videos up live, which is great, and then posting them 24 hours later when news is kind of old by that time. We're not sure why, but if you're a YouTube monitor and you're watching, good morning, and maybe you can give us a hand with that. And also Facebook monitors, good morning. Welcome to the show. Hopefully we can learn something about Sudbury and about what's going on up in this great part of the world here in Northern Ontario. Welcome, Zach. How are you doing this morning?
Doing good, yeah.
Yeah, how was the drive in this morning?
It's nice, beautiful. Clear skies.
It is. And I think today they say it's going to be not as hot as it was yesterday. And so we actually shared that story from Sudbury.com on our Facebook page. So let's get right into it this morning, and then we'll have some headlines. So the current conditions, 10 degrees. Yesterday when you drove in, it was 18. So It was pretty much double that yesterday in terms of heat. So you would have noticed that it wasn't as hot this morning. Mm-hmm. So looking towards the rest of the day, sunny, high of 26, humidex 28. Glad they stopped putting the wind in there, because it was always the wind is 20 kilometers, going to be 40 kilometers.
Oh,
it was like a
true.
cut and paste all the time. So anyways, it's not going to be windy today. It's going to be 9 in the UV index, though. It'll be 9 or very high. Clear tonight, low of 15. So it'll be
much better. Yeah.
Still kind of warm for the night, though, 15 degrees. Friday, increasing cloudiness here in Sudbury early in the morning. Wind becoming southwest 20 kilometers, gusting to 40 as the usual is. And then high of 27 tomorrow. So here's the long range for you. Friday, like I said, 27. Saturday, sunny, 29. And then there's a 60% chance of showers rolling in on Sunday and 30% on Monday. So it looks like we got a little bit of precipitation with a possibility of thunderstorms on Sunday. Other than that, it's sunny and warm. We'll be right back. Yeah, so a lot of local stories going on in Sudbury. It seems like news just keeps happening. I don't know. If you try and stop it, you just can't. Things keep happening.
Well, there is a newspaper every day, even if nothing happens.
There's still a newspaper. It's just barely hanging on. But
so if nothing's happening...
You know, newspapers used to be like really, really thick.
Right.
Full of flyers and all kinds of content and everything. And now you look at the newspaper and we used to have a free newspaper too, and then they stopped that. And now our one newspaper we have pretty darn skimpy looking.
I like newspapers. I think they're going to make a comeback.
You think so?
Yeah, I think on paid subscriptions, newspapers, it's a much better model for them.
Yeah.
And I don't think the internet is a great...
No, you don't think it's as good?
I don't think it's a great way to distribute information like that.
It's different.
It's too algorithmic.
It's very different.
Too personalized.
Yeah, I saw
it feels biased all the time.
There's a really great conversation about AI kind of taking over, and what's this Lambda?
Yeah.
This Lambda entity that basically they're asking themselves, could it possibly have a conscience? Was the debate on CBC radio yesterday morning after the show.
So it would have to be like intelligent.
And it is very intelligent. And one of the people involved in the research was basically like, taken back by it because there were some real scary comments that Lambda made that thought, maybe some dark things could come out of all of that. But anyways, and then they also were asking on a previous kind of conversation on the same subject was, could AI take over for government at one point? And just kind of put the world on automation, make policies, and just have AI kind of run things. I know, scary.
Yeah, I don't know.
Coming soon.
AI, I mean, at least we would have some version of intelligence then.
Oh, no. Even if it's artificial?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Well, at least intelligence is part of the, part of the mix. Or at least they're proposing that it is artificial intelligence. And I'd like to welcome all of those on Facebook Live, all of you that join us each and every day and liberally share your comments. And I encourage you to continue to do that, be part of the conversation here this morning as we talk about the breaking news stories here in the city.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So let's go through kind of the main points of the day, and we can take our time or we can zip through them. It's a great thing about the show is if we're just finding that it's not really translating well to this medium, we can just move on. That's the just kind of roll on. That's the model that we operate on.
That's right. Next story.
Headline that I thought was interesting, and I think you will also find, is that there's been essentially a decision made on Bell Mansion. Some people know about the Bell Mansion. It's part of Laurentian's real estate holdings.
Belonged to a family with the last name of Bell. Mm-hmm. Very historic here in town, near Bell Park. And really iconic building. Very old. And so what are we going to be talking about that?
Well, you just have to wait and see.
Oh, you're going to have to hang on.
That's the thing. Sudbury.com asked readers to share their sightings and stories of UFOs.
I knew you were going to pick that one.
Over the last 50, 60 years. And there's some pretty interesting ones.
I didn't know Sudbury, it says in the headline, it's a hotbed.
It's a hotbed.
Something like that, yeah.
How could anyone not know that?
Or
not think that? I mean,
I wonder why they're attracted to Sudbury. Anyways,
there's some pretty good reasons in the. So we'll go through that. The airport is asking for more money to maintain infrastructure. Says they're facing a lot of pressures from recent events.
Well, with all the UFO traffic too, I'm sure they need extra funding.
Sometimes a topic just emerges on its own, and I don't have to impose it.
No, it just kind of makes itself apparent.
Exactly. I was trying to make a joke, but I couldn't get a word in when you said artificial intelligence in government.
Yeah.
I wanted to say maybe we could have artificial incompetence.
Oh my goodness. I think that's what we do have.
That's what we already have.
Yeah.
This cool story about a Sudbury company using Boston Dynamics robots.
Yeah.
In an attempt to innovate mining survey, inspection, safety, and mine rescue.
Mm-hmm.
So you've probably seen videos of the robotic dog.
Yeah.
You have?
Interesting, this artificial intelligence best friend of man.
Mm-hmm. And it's like pretty, it's come a long way. I remember when I was in my teens, Boston Dynamics was working on this. So it's come a long way.
They do have a lot more intricacies, incorporated into it. It's very more robust and can do a lot more things. And it's pretty awe-inspiring and scary.
It's a little bit scary.
All at the same time.
And speaking of scary, our headline of the day, I thought we'd better start with this. It's 2 men, June 21st, were arrested for possession of a weapon for dangerous purpose. So 9:35 a.m. on Durham Street.
Yep.
Information was provided. 2 men were seen exchanging what was believed to be a handgun. Minutes later, patrol officers arrived, located the 2 men based on description, and they were taken into custody. Police located the firearm. As a result of the arrest, They searched both men and located a variety of illegal weapons.
A variety of illegal weapons.
That's right, including switchblade, which is illegal,
Wow.
a set of brass knuckles, which are illegal,
Brass knuckles are illegal?
and a spring-assisted knife, which is what a switchblade is.
I was just going to say
But
that sounds like a switchblade to me.
They put that in twice. I'm not sure.
Well, maybe they had two.
It turns out the firearm was just a replica.
Meaning
It's not real.
it was a toy.
But the other
Were
weapons
real.
were real.
Switchblades were real.
So the 21-year-old, there's a 21-year-old and a 20-year-old. 21-year-old was charged with possession of a deadly weapon for a dangerous purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Not the gun, though. And 20-year-old was charged with possession of a weapon for dangerous purpose, possession of a firearm or ammunition contrary to prohibition order, and failed to comply with prohibition order. I guess replicas count as real guns.
Really?
So they were held in bail court overnight. 21-year-old was released on promise to reappear, and the names have not been released yet because they have to go through the court process.
Huh.
But, pretty interesting downtown story.
It is. Now, again, like there's a couple things to unpack, but the one stands out to me is that a replica gun you can be charged just as the same as having a real gun. Did you know that before?
No. And I would think that this is a case of,
Ouch.
the information was faulty.
Yeah.
You performed the arrest,
Yeah.
performed a search on probable cause, found stuff you weren't planning on,
Yes.
but the original cause of that search turned out not to be
Mm-hmm.
correct. Is that a case of...
But they did
I'm
find
not sure
things.
what happens legally in that case.
I don't know. They'd have to have a good lawyer.
Because from my perspective, it looks like wrongful
Arrest?
search, but there is
Yeah.
probable cause.
The problem is when
Somebody directly witnessed them with the gun,
Yeah.
but turned out not to be real.
So to me, if you're in a court and you're trying to go for a wrongful arrest, and the police are going to say, "Well, what do you want us to do?" Someone thought they had a gun. It looks like a real gun, and for all purposes, anyone would think it's
Right.
a real gun. So they called us, and what are we going to do? How do we know that it's a toy or a real? We have
Sure.
to go and find out. So they did, and when they did, they found all these other weapons too. So to me, I
Switchblade,
don't
brass
think
knuckles.
Yeah, I don't think they have a leg to stand on if they're going to look for a wrongful search or whatever claim against the police.
Yeah, they'll definitely probably get hung up on the switchblade thing.
Well, for sure,
But,
it's a real. And even the gun, like why do you got a toy gun downtown?
Right.
Like were you playing like cops and robbers?
Yeah, and I mean, you said it, but you have to get a lawyer.
Yeah, a good
So-
lawyer could probably spin the thing like they usually do. Good lawyers, that's what they do. They're wordsmiths, and they're able to convince people of a certain angle of thought. And then,
And people individually,
know?
just aren't aware of their rights very often.
true. Yeah.
You don't have to let them just rummage through your car.
Well,
A lot of people do let them.
it doesn't really matter in a way. Like, I don't think you have much choice. Where you do have to do, if a police is searching you or whatever, and you feel it's not proper, you're really not going to do anything on
No.
the spot. They're going to do whatever they're going to do.
That's true.
And what I usually got was, because I ran a delivery business for many years, and so I was constantly being, checked out by police because I was constantly in a hurry everywhere, and so I was on the road a lot. And the chances and probability of me encountering traffic police was higher than most people. So what would happen is they would, come to me originally and say, hey, driver's license, registration, all that stuff. And I was even going to university at the time and taking law, so I knew some of my rights more than maybe most people. And so
That
I
almost makes it worse.
yeah, I know. I'd say, so under which law are you detaining me? Oh, right away. Under the law, I am the law, they would say.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
You're the law? Wow. That's incredible. Where does that come from? So, they just do what they want. And then you got to, which I have had to do, take them to court after and then plead your case. So it's the only thing you can do. I mean, they have a gun, right? and they have
the long
authority
arm, the long arm of the law.
And what are you going to, if you do anything physical to prevent
It's way
them,
worse.
you know, you grabbed me, I had to take extra force or whatever. So you just got to stand there and take it. I remember one police officer said he never did anything wrong in his life. He never broke a law.
Yeah.
I said, well, what? You know what I mean? I forget. Oh, because I didn't put my stickers on my license plate right away because it was a snowstorm and it was full of snow and whatever. And I think I left it a couple days. Mm-hmm. And he pulled me over. He said, do you have the old stickers? And I said, oh, I have them right here in my glove compartment. He goes, well, you can't do that. You need to put your stickers on. I said, I'm so sorry. I mean, it was so dirty, my license plate, whatever. And then I said, well, haven't you ever done something small like that?
That was a mistake.
Never.
Yeah, no,
I've never broken even, you've never jaywalked once in your life. No, never.
broke the law.
I've never broken a law. I said, oh my goodness.
You can't,
Who am I talking to
can't be
right now?
reasonable.
How did you not break a law in your life? I said, okay, right now I'm not dealing with a human being. There's something wrong here.
No, that's like totally unreasonable.
I know. Crazy.
Yeah, speaking of unreasonable.
Oh, we're going into unreasonable craziness? Okay, good. I like this.
So, we have to get this Bell Mansion thing out of the way.
You think so?
Yeah, because we want to talk about UFOs. So, Laurentian University has been decided does have the right to sell Bell Mansion.
Yeah.
But the problem is
it's not going to.
It's housing the art gallery of Sudbury.
That's right. So there's a conundrum there.
The conundrum, yet another legal conundrum, is what's going to happen to the quote-unquote valuable artwork.
Very valuable.
I seriously doubt that it's that valuable.
I'm sure valuable. What do you say? Like, valuable could be $1 or more, right? That's value.
It's like
There's
saying
a value
I
on
have
it.
a nickel collection.
Yeah.
Because I live in Nickel City and it's very valuable. It's
That
like,
is.
yeah,
It
it
is
matters to
valuable.
you. But
That's right.
Is it really worth anything?
It's very, it's
No.
just like art itself. You know, how do you know good art or not good art? It's all about your perspective,
It's all
right?
about who's getting the money for it. That's
Yeah.
I read this like 3,000 word op-ed about how art was mainly used in money laundering now.
Yeah, for sure. Totally.
So
Definitely.
once I learned that, I realized all the expensive art you've
Yeah.
been told is really good
Yeah.
is just being used to make money. So it's
interesting if you look into the history of diamonds as well. Like diamonds
of
were
course same thing.
never even useful for anything or whatever. I mean, it's good for cutting things. However,
Yep.
the usefulness of people wanting it as jewelry, they had to build a need for it or a want for
Yep.
it. And they did. Now it's precious. But before,
Diamonds are forever.
it was nothing. But same with art. I mean, it is what it is. It's being used to exchange money. But again, it's in the eye of the beholder, whether you think an art piece or it's like any art, right? Songs, paintings,
Yeah, songs.
movies, books. It's what people think. How many times have you
It's in
heard,
the eye of the beholder.
I love this band. Oh, I hate that band.
And
Oh,
then
two
people don't
different
like
people.
it.
One loves it, one hates it.
Right, right.
One's willing to pay $150 to go see a concert. The other one's like, you can't even pay me to go see it. So I guess it's all, it's up to the person. But the art is worth. So they do have some pretty cool pieces if you look at it from the perspective of an art dealer or whatever.
Sure.
But the story, I think, is that Laurentian cannot sell this building because they have a tenant in there. Correct? Until 2025.
They've been given at least until then. And
Yeah.
what surprised me is this is the only asset that Laurentian has proposed to sell.
One.
And it's only
And they
worth
can't.
$1 million.
You know why? Because they can't sell it, and they knew that. So they're proposing to sell it.
It's only worth $1 million.
Oh, but wait, we can't sell it. We have a tenant.
Like, this is the only
It's
asset
funny.
the university has proposed to even sell.
Yeah.
And it's only like a drop in the bucket
Yeah, I know.
of their...
How much do they owe
Problem.
again? 300 and some million? What is
It's astronomical.
it? Yeah.
But donors and supporters of the local art scene have raised concerns. However, the school could try to sell artwork in the future,
Yeah.
despite the gallery's position that it is not entitled to do so.
But don't you see something weird there? It's the only property they're proposing to sell, and they already knew they couldn't.
They probably knew there were going to be issues.
You know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, we can sell that. Like almost, but they don't know that we have a lease with
the can't sell it. Yeah.
Exactly. It's like, oh my goodness, you guys don't know you're in the news, and everybody can see what's going on.
To be honest, you can sell it while it's unreleased.
You know what this whole Laurentian
totally
thing
fine.
reminds me of? You know in cartoons when they think they're invisible?
Yeah.
And they're walking around as if no one can see them.
They put on lemon juice and then
and
it's
meanwhile,
invisibility ink.
you know, look, you can't see me. I'm invisible.
That's crazy.
You're not invisible. There's lots of people can see what you're doing. Oh my goodness.
I like that. Art is very subjective.
Very subjective.
And,
that's the word I was looking for.
The Laurentian administrators have taken a lot of artistic liberties to spend your money.
That's true. They're hoping that it's very objective too of people's opinions of what's been going on with that whole thing.
Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I have absolutely no faith that anyone involved is doing this for the right reason.
Doing?
Like, putting on this act, like, oh no, how dare you move the art gallery.
Yeah.
It's like, they just built a $30 million building downtown.
Yes.
That is probably going to go unused for its entire life. I don't think you're that worried.
No.
About getting somewhere to put the art gallery. Like, there is a ridiculous amount of money spent on art.
There is.
Already.
Yes.
So why are you so afraid of not having a place to put art? You know?
I know.
And the art is worth a lot more than the building.
For sure.
Apparently. It's like 5 times as much. So
just showing a picture of the Bell Mansion here.
Does anyone really believe that if the Bell Mansion gets sold, Sudbury's art, will just go down in flames? It's like, does anyone really believe that? Like, it's more, to me, this $1 million mansion, it's more of a symbolic gesture. It's not even, it's just an attempt to kind of show good faith, to put your best foot forward and say, look, we're trying to make things right.
Yeah.
Rather than really, it's not really about the $1 million,
No, we also shared the story, kind of as a companion to that story on Sudbury News Facebook page, comes from Sudbury.com. It says university expects to present motion materials for creditors, meeting by end of June for within a few days thereof. So they are close to having something to present to creditors. Laurentian president says plan of arrangement getting very close.
Yeah, and that's like the adjunct to this story.
Yeah. Really close.
What do you think that means? Do you think it's going to be what we expect, or there's going to be some surprises? What's your prediction?
You know what? I think there's going to be some surprises. Because I think not that we're going to be surprised, but I think just things that are going to come out that are going to be very
more enlightened, like more light is going to be shone.
Yeah, it says Laurentian University's president said it remains the university's intention to serve motion materials by the end of this month or within a few days thereof. Well, isn't the end of the month, isn't this the last
it's like a
week of the month? So seeking, quote, meeting order, unquote, to present a plan of arrangement to its creditors. So just so if everyone's not aware of what a plan of arrangement is, a plan of arrangement is essentially a plan put forward by an insolvent organization to pay out its creditors. And it must be
That's what the Bell Mansion is.
Yeah.
It's to show good faith, but it's not.
But what does that show to your creditors? Oh, we have this one building here. Oh, no, sorry, we can't sell it, though.
No, we can't sell that one. No.
Till
They're going to do that for everything.
Till 2025.
They're going to say that for everything. They're going to say, well, that one we can't.
Until the Liberal
sell.
NDP coalition is done. That's how long it's going to be in for.
That's a while. Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, 2025 is just around the corner, but it's. I think we'll come up quick. But
Laurentian continues to undergo court-supervised reconstruction after declaring insolvency in February 2021. and filing for creditor protection under the Companies Creditors Arrangement Act, the CCAA.
CCAA. Yeah.
Not to be confused with CAA. Totally different thing.
CAA is for your car.
Yeah.
Or for travel insurance.
Yeah. Not for credit.
I don't know. This whole Laurentian thing is becoming very tired for me. Like, I'm yawning even thinking about it.
Yeah.
Like, does anyone really believe this is going to make a difference?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd love to talk to Robert Hache.
You think so? You think he'd come on the show?
No.
No, I don't think so either.
I mean, he's very good at putting on show. But I don't think he would want to come on. I could be wrong. Maybe he wants to, defend himself. But I don't have the best opinions.
Yeah.
Like, results, speak for themselves, I think. There's this really good quote. I don't remember where I read this, which book it was, but it was like, money isn't everything, but it's a pretty good way of keeping score.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you became president like 10 years ago of Laurentian, and they were in a bunch of debt then, and had a bunch of deferred capital expenditure then, and they were kind of in the hole then, and then you came in, and now it's bankrupt. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's not everything,
Yeah.
but
there's something
it's
to
a
that.
pretty good way of keeping score.
Yeah.
I think if you were going to get fired, that would be a pretty good reason. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But in the story, if you go to Sudbury.com, you can see a kind of a back and forth between, who is it? Turcotte here. Jose Turcotte
Yeah.
and Robert Hache kind of thing. Why don't you do this? Oh, I did do that. Well, what about this? Oh, we're going to be doing that. So you can kind of see what's going on between the two of them. And, just the whole trying to get answers and then the answers from Laurentian coming back. Interesting stuff. But,
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't have much hope. Like, the University of Sudbury thing alone, to me, is like, how much is that building worth?
Oh, I know.
Oh, but that doesn't belong to us. We can't.
No.
How much is the Thornlow, theater worth? Oh, well, that doesn't belong to us. We can't. It's like...
Yeah, I know. It's like you can blow and suck at the same time. You can get your cake and you eat it too. You can it's like everything is in your favor all the time. And
Laurentian's like your friend that constantly complains about being broke, but they drive like a brand new BMW. And then you're like, maybe these things go together.
And he's borrowing money.
And then he
from
goes, I'm going bankrupt. And you go, really? And he goes, yeah, the gas prices have just it's
inflation
just too much.
is
I just
terrible.
can't. And you're like,
Can I borrow $20 from you? And you're driving a
I drive an 05
Toyota
Camry,
and he's got a brand new BMW, and he's borrowing money from you.
That's what I mean.
That's what it feels like. Yeah, exactly. There you go. You got
just-
that down. Pretty good.
It's rich coming from your friend with terrible financial management. And then they're like, I might have to sell my mansion. No.
Oh, wait, I can't.
The mansion doesn't belong to
Wait,
me. I can't sell it.
It's being rented out, and
It's
we're
like, oh, man.
we're getting the rent money from that every month, so I can't sell it.
Like, it's like divorces can be really messy, right? And lawyers end up walking away like bandits usually.
Oh, my
It's
goodness.
usually the lawyers that win the divorce.
They win, for sure.
Neither partner wins the divorce, right?
No.
It's like that with the Laurentian. It's like you filed for this bankruptcy that was avoidable,
Yeah, it was.
and then now you're complaining about them taking all your nice stuff.
Yeah,
And you already paid the consultants and the lawyers.
yeah. You already did all you could, like exorbitant amounts.
You paid as much money to your buddies before the party was over.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, we need more money. I don't know. I just have no sympathy.
And
I
again-
yawn thinking about it.
I don't know if they realize this is all public. It's
You're
in the
very
public
visible.
arena. Yeah.
If you wanted to be a crook, you shouldn't have gone into public service. Well, ironically, that is the best place, probably.
That's where you go if you want to do stuff like that.
Let's talk about other obscure things.
All right. We will. Are we at the UFOs
I want
yet?
to leave the UFOs for last because that's what I'm looking forward to.
Oh, my goodness.
But the airport, leading into that kind of topic, the airport
sure.
is facing pressures from a few different things, regulatory changes, COVID, etc. A new study into the viability of Ontario's airports found that millions more in government funding is needed to keep pace with new challenges facing these facilities. And of course, Sudbury Airport is one of them. In case you didn't know, the Sudbury Airport is not a financially viable entity.
No, I knew that. I was just going to make a comment, but I'll wait till you're done, and it's along those lines.
Yeah, so the study was, important to kind of see who was struggling, which airports were necessary, what kind of funding they would need to get up to par, and
yeah,
that's basically what the findings were.
I'm sure if you went in and did an audit of expenses from the airport and stuff, you'd see what you see pretty much everywhere, and it's rampant.
That's pretty true.
Like, Sudbury Airport is declaring insolvency now or whatever. And you said something really important there. You said they're going to the government for more money. Mm-hmm. This is the problem with our society in general. I think mainly in Canada, but it's this reliance on the government. It's like you're not accountable for your own fiscal. You're not fiscally responsible, and you're not asked to be, because you can constantly go to the government for more money. And they constantly then say, well, you need to run your organization like this because you're now under the thumb of government. And so that's called heavy socialism or bordering on communism, when it just gets to be that's the only way that your society runs, is you have to keep running to the government for more money.
More. Yeah.
Like if you don't have a facility that can be fiscally viable on its own, and you rely on government funding, I mean, eventually it's a black hole, right? The government being the black hole.
Totally.
And everything just eventually is, feeding off of that. Or you picture it like a big pig, not to say that it's like a pig. And you picture all the piglets eating off, feeding off of that. Mm-hmm. What happens when the pig dies, or the pig is sick, or whatever? You know what I mean? What are you going to do as a piglet? You could be self-reliant,
But that's all you know.
But yeah. So anyway, so the as you said, the airport is not self-reliant. It is not, can't operate. It's not viable. So
Interesting fact.
In order to have an airport, we need
Bob
to
Johnston, not the mayoral candidate.
Bob Johnston, the COO of Sudbury Wolves,
the new COO of the SWSE, is the former CEO of the Sudbury Airport.
Yes.
I just thought that was an important,
cool
connection.
He was a city employee, right? So as the airport, it's the city, and the city has a lot of employees. And again, it's similar to Laurentian because it has a lot of top-end employees, a lot of administration, a lot of bosses, a lot of supervisors. And unfortunately, that's where a lot of... Miles says U.S. Congress does call it pork.
Yeah, they do.
That's interesting. It just came to my mind, so I guess I'm thinking similarly to that. But
they call it that because of the sausage analogy.
Oh, okay.
Like with every sausage, there's like a
link.
There's meat aspect, and then there's the fat aspect.
Oh, yeah, additives.
Yeah, so to get the right consistency in a sausage, you need the right mix of different things. So like in government, they'll put in like 30% useless filler just to get it done. Yeah. Like just to get the bill done.
They have to satisfy everybody.
Everyone wants their piece.
That's why they make the bill at 10 o'clock, and then you need to read it by midnight.
500 pages or something.
You need to read it by midnight and vote on it. It's because they don't want anybody picking it apart with all the fillers. Yeah,
that is democracy. So
it is.
AMCO, Airport Management Council of Ontario, has proposed a couple of things the provincial government could do to help.
Okay, which are?
There's a typo on the Sudbury.com article.
What's the typo?
They meant to write reinvest, but they wrote revinest.
Okay, revinest.
Revinesting aviation tax revenues.
Yeah. Maybe it's revinest. Maybe that's the term.
Revinesting. It's a typo, but it's okay.
Reinvest. Sure.
Restoring the Joint Industry and Government Ontario Air Advisory Panel to address issues of concern and set priorities. Mm-hmm. It wants the federal government also to give $100 million per year.
Sure, why not?
It wants to recapitalize the Regional Air Transportation Initiative.
Wow.
To support community airports that are not eligible for the provincial funding. So,
but we are eligible.
I believe that we would be, yeah. because it is, like you said, it's more of a private,
But we also
sorry,
want
more
money.
of a public thing.
But we also want money from an organization from the government that gives to airports that don't get the funding. We want funding, even though we
either
do
way,
get
we're going to
funding.
get funded. That's
think
the
we're gonna
idea.
get funded,
They
yeah.
want to cover their bases.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is interesting. So, AMCO is calling on tax revenues spent at airports or in aviation
Okay.
to be reinvested
Okay.
rather than taken out and spent other places.
So money that's made.
Seems pretty intuitive to me.
Sure. Okay. So money comes in from airports.
Yep. And
Whatever.
it's taxed.
I wonder what revenue streams are for airports. Like, do the major airlines,
It's almost nothing. Like
yeah, I was going to say. must not
airline
be.
business is terrible business.
It is.
It's like restaurants.
Yeah, I know that one.
And I'm not saying it's the thing itself is terrible. I'm saying the business is terrible because
Yeah.
the profits all get
So
competed
slim.
away.
And then you need government help. Look
And
at
then
Air
you need
Canada. We
government
had to
help.
buy the freaking company.
Peter Thiel did this really good speech. He's like one of the early investors in pretty much every important startup in Silicon Valley right now.
Yeah.
And what he said is the net profits of all all airlines in the US is probably zero.
The net profits.
Yeah.
Wow, what an industry.
The net profits. So like over the last 100 years of them existing, with all the government help and all this stuff, you can probably add up all of the money they've taken in, and it's probably pretty much equal to what they've made.
See, that's what I think.
It's a terrible business.
Once government gets involved with
They've done it multiple times. They've
Then-
bailed them out.
the whole industry and culture becomes like this whole dependency on the government, dependency on anybody. Look, we talk about dependence when we have problems with drugs and alcohol. You're dependent on it, right?
Once you get hooked, right?
There's a similar thing, like you're kind of addicted to the government money, and
Mm-hmm.
then the whole industry then goes along that way, and you end up with zero net profits. You end up with basically a government supported industry when it didn't have to be like that. How many people fly in this world? You know what I mean? It's like terrible. I know there's another argument. I know there's certain areas that can't be serviced. Only the major entities would get, like Toronto, Montreal. They would be able to be viable, and then we'd have to drive from there to here. And so the more you try and make accessibility and whatever, then the profitability goes down. And then the government, that's what they're all about, is equity and fairness and things like that. So the price to pay for that is that there's no profit at the end
No
of the
profit.
day.
Yeah, competition
Yeah.
is for losers, as they say.
Yeah. Competition's for losers.
It makes
they say?
everybody lose.
Really? Who says that?
That's another Peter Thiel.
Wow.
He wrote a book about that.
Competition makes everyone lose. I thought competition, there's a winner, like the game last
Yeah,
night.
that's the traditional thinking.
You
Is
would
that
think.
if there's competition,
Yeah.
then everybody like forces each other to try harder and
For
do
sure.
better. But it's actually
would.
the opposite. In business, you want to be a monopoly because then
Yeah,
you actually get
own
profits.
everything. And you can raise the
Whereas
prices.
when you have to compete, it's like
It's just like Amazon. It used to be cheaper than everywhere else, but if you actually price out
getting more
Amazon
expensive.
prices
Yeah.
compared to your local Canadian Tire or Walmart, something local,
yeah, no,
Or-
it's not much better.
locally owned businesses, actually Amazon's prices are starting to go higher than them if you do your due diligence. Anyways, interesting because they're starting to be in a monopoly.
But there is a good argument to be made for monopoly too, if it's done benevolently, and that would be you only have to send one truck.
That's true.
You know, if there's 3 companies competing for
Yeah.
market share, they're sending 3 times as many trucks. They
Yeah.
have 3 times as many managers. They have 3 times as many people working the store.
Yeah.
Whereas you could just have one and they would do the best.
Yeah.
So that
That's what I think our world
there's
is
an
going.
argument,
Our
but
world is going all into one.
consolidated.
It's all going to be consolidated into one government corporation, that owns everything. And that's where we're heading. If you really understand all of these things, you see that's where the road is going. But I guess we'll be commentating along the way as we get there.
Is it going down with the ship?
It's the play-by-play,
Yeah.
of where we're going.
I don't know why YouTube thinks that I'm interested in the Titanic, but
It keeps putting
it
Titanic
seems topical.
videos.
Yeah, it keeps suggesting me to watch like this Chinese man
Okay.
went down in the Titanic and was saved. It's like
And you never watched it after all those
who
suggestions?
cares? Like
Well, I mean,
it's like 100 years ago.
but it keeps suggesting
It's like
that video.
Next is going to be like Egyptian pharaohs. It's going to
Yeah.
be like the secret life
Well,
of
this thing,
Egyptian pharaohs.
we
I
get
mean,
the
like,
chance
I don't
to-
care.
We get the chance now to talk like directly to YouTube monitors through this, so that's
Sure,
good.
sure.
So if you're suggesting the Titanic video for Zach, maybe he's not going to watch it.
Like,
So
I don't watch the
stop
videos. Why do you
suggesting
keep suggesting them to me? And then I click on the thing, not interested.
Oh,
you know.
you put not interested.
I'm one of
even.
the few people that actually
Wow.
does that.
I
I
never
don't think
go
it
through
does
that.
anything.
trouble.
Like another one is like Elon Musk. It will suggest like a million things on Elon Musk.
Well, I think they suggest that for anyone. And I think it's
It's
because
like,
you're
I don't-
interested in business and finance.
Yeah, that's great. But like,
Yeah.
there are hundreds of businesses that are just as cool.
Yeah. No, but they want Elon Musk
know,
to be
that's-
that guy.
I don't know. He seems like a great guy. Love
He's got a
to
cool
meet him
name,
one day.
for sure.
He's got a cool name. But like, there are other businesses out there, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I'm a contrarian, so I don't. When he became like a superstar, global, whatever, and everyone wanted to do every project at school about him,
For sure.
I went the opposite way.
Is there an actual Elon Musk out there though? Like, if there's not, we need to start one, like a fragrance.
Oh, Elon Musk. That's funny.
There's,
Put a picture of a Dogecoin on it.
there you go.
But
Elon.
let's talk about this robotic dog.
We'll be right back. I'm really interested. Do you want to start that with me? You just get any old
Elon
fragrance,
Musk?
package it with something else, and
Sure.
it's just Elon.
Call it Elon.
That's it. Because you say, what is Elon?
It might be an
it's a Musk.
infringement of his likeness.
It's a Musk.
But
I don't think. No, he's not a bottle.
yeah, I guess. I don't know.
Infringement.
look into the legal
maybe on the
aspect.
copyright of his name. But if it's just one of those, it's a novelty item.
It's a novelty. Like
Take a
the
joke for
Dr.
crying out
Fauci
loud.
candle.
Exactly.
So it's probably okay.
I would
Actually,
think
he is
so.
a public figure, so maybe.
I'm sure it's already out there, anyways.
Matt McKinnon, not Elon Musk, is the owner of a Sudbury-based company called Unmanned Aerial Service, Inc., which is working with the robot Spot we talked about. Boston
Yes.
Dynamics developed this robotic dog, and they're coming up with mining applications for the technology. So his business is primarily focused on flying drones, doing LiDAR mapping, which, do you know what LiDAR is?
You know what I thought
Is
I
that
did?
common knowledge?
It was. I know I learned it at some point, and I forget now.
So I know it's using infrared light. So invisible light, we can't see, shoots it out, and then the light bounces off objects and comes back into a receiver.
So it's kind of like a bat with sonar, but with light.
Yeah, exactly,
Okay.
yeah.
All
Whereas bat uses sound,
Sound, sorry.
and LiDAR uses...
Yeah, sonar is sound, yeah.
LiDAR is a up-and-coming technology. It was a big thing for augmented reality. Because it can... The new iPhones have LiDAR built in.
Yeah.
So they can determine distances really accurately. Whereas pictures, it's like, doesn't, necessarily get that.
I like the name. LiDAR.
Yeah, it's like radar, sonar, it's imaging.
LightDAR.
But so industrial confined spaces, underground mines, surveying. His company does a lot of things. But what he says is drones can't really go underground. There's too
No.
much dust and water vapor, not enough room to maneuver.
Okay.
So Spot the robot would fill that
Interesting.
gap.
And think of it, they can't bring their pets down there.
Well, they used to use canaries, but now I guess they
Yeah.
use robots.
But now they can have like a
pet.
robotic dog
Yeah,
pet.
they can have a pet.
It's like, hey, Spot, come on over here. And they're
Yeah, I guess.
kind of
Oh.
pet them and stuff, feed them.
This is pretty weird stuff. So he says in mining rescue, that's what they're really interested in. Apparently, that's where
Okay.
they want to be.
He's going to search out people
He says you can put a grappling hook
on him.
on the front of the dog.
Okay.
So you could hook onto somebody,
Yeah.
at least get a rope through to them, and then you could drag them out.
With the dog is strong enough to do that.
Or put a radio on it, a water bottle, or a lamp, and then send it in.
So while you're stuck in the place, you can listen to your favorite music.
I don't know if that's the point.
Oh,
of the
that's not the
radar.
radio. Okay, a different kind of radio.
Kind of radio.
Okay, sorry.
You can listen to Leonard Skinner alone in the dark. You could also send Spot into areas with blasting gas or residual poisonous substances.
Yep.
So pretty pretty useful stuff, obviously. Can't send humans in there.
I think it's a great idea for
nothing
mine
wrong with
rescue.
this.
Like, this is pretty cool. I'm sure that would be a sight for sore eyes if you're kind of stuck under a bunch of rock and thinking your life is over. That'd be pretty amazing.
I've
to
been
see
wondering
this
for
little guy.
years what Boston Dynamics was actually going to use their products for.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm sure
So,
they have a
finally,
huge,
it seems like they have something.
we know this. They have a huge military usefulness. There's no
course.
doubt about that. Just imagine this thing with a gun on its nose,
Like a rail gun or something. Yeah.
chasing people through the forest.
Yeah, it could be like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
It could be, yes.
Cool.
Are we gonna get to UFOs?
We got to talk about UFOs.
We got to talk about UFOs. You've been looking forward to this one.
To Sudbury, it's just another Thursday, but to us, it's our UFO special episode. And you might not have known this. Might not know. In the early 50s, Sudbury was the center of flying saucer sighting activity.
Odd.
So, a local UFO expert named Michel Deschamps has identified 51 reported sightings between 1948 and 1989.
This one person saw that many
He's
UFOs?
a UFO expert, so...
So only if you're an expert you can see them?
No, he's recorded them and put them together.
Other people's
Yes,
accounts.
sightings.
He has documented them. Okay.
Exactly. So,
Just want to make...
the first one was in 1948.
Wow.
Listen to this. 2 truck drivers say they were following an 80-foot-long object emitting orange sparks.
Sparks.
80-foot-long object.
Wow. Maybe it was just the, the slag, and they were on Big Nickel Road, looked over and thought it was in the sky.
Sounds pretty wild.
Yeah, that's probably what they saw.
Personally, Deschamps has had 23 UFO sightings.
Yeah.
So he was only 9 years old, but his first one was in 1974.
This guy did see a lot of sightings. That's what I'm saying.
23 of them.
He saw
his own.
23
And
UFOs.
those are just the recorded ones.
I haven't
So
even
there could be a
seen
lot
one.
more. Wow.
That's a lot.
So the largest number of UFO sightings was 1967.
Yeah.
There were 8 incidents reported. That lines up pretty well with the hallucinogenics
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
phenomenon. I don't know. Maybe that has a link. I don't know.
Well, Miles' question does go in line with this because he says, who deems them experts? Let's investigate that. Well, it's true. Well, I guess if you've seen more than 10 or something, maybe you're an expert.
Well, if you compile these sightings, I'm guessing that makes you an expert.
Yeah, the more you know about, the more sightings and in the the wherewithal that they have. I've never seen one myself. My father says he's seen one.
Really?
Yeah. He swears to this day he saw
I don't think I've ever seen a UFO.
object in the sky that was going one way and then all of a sudden just did a roundabout turn and just went off into the distance. And he says everybody has kind of laughed at him for sharing that over time.
That's just really... I don't know what to say
Yeah.
about that.
But he swears he's seen it. I've never seen it. I've seen satellites, going...
Yeah, that's
Across the
probably the
sky.
closest thing for me is you see the light
Yeah.
traveling across the sky
Yeah.
and shooting stars.
meteors, all those things, but I've never seen. Now, again, right? Recently, there was this video in Arizona. Do you remember seeing that? Where there's a bunch of them
the
over.
yeah.
Yeah, a bunch of them over the city, Phoenix. And wow, yeah, so that's pretty incredible. But what do we? UFOs are going to become a huge thing. Just heads up, everybody. They're going to be coming out. They're now. You have the government authorities saying they have evidence over years and years and years that it's just a thing. It's just real. It just happens.
It's just been a thing. Yeah.
And we're going to be before now. So all these people that were been stereotyped as kooky or whatever, they're now going to be it's true. There are UFOs. There are aliens coming here for whatever reasons, and these UFO sightings are real, and we're going to get a lot of real reports coming out, and we may even get some visitations coming
I
up
don't
very
know.
shortly.
There's been a lot of people that have come out
Yeah.
for this kind of stuff. Like
Yeah.
there was one guy, Bob Lazar, was pretty popular. pop culture. Apparently worked at Area 51
Yeah.
or something very close to Area 51. And he said they had like dozens of UFOs there.
Yeah.
And
Area
people
51.
people that say, yeah, well, if there's UFOs, where are they?
They're there.
And it's like they put them all in the same place.
Put them
I
all
don't know.
there. It's like a wrecking
I have
yard.
a hard time with that.
It's like where you put all your cars, but it's for UFOs.
Oh, yeah. I don't know what. Yeah.
Yeah, wrecking
These
yard.
were like well maintained, whatever. They
Oh.
wanted to study them.
Okay.
They
it's
wanted
like,
to like, they had scientists like studying them. This is all according to Bob Lazar. This is not my.
no.
I
Yeah,
don't
remember
think
that
it really
guy.
happened, but apparently in the 80s he was big because he came out and said, like, I was a scientist
Yeah.
there,
I
whatever.
remember seeing a couple documentaries with him. He's
Yeah.
from Michigan. I think he's living in Michigan now. But anyways, yeah,
Sounds
so
right.
interesting stuff. If you see a UFO,
Yeah, let us know.
let us know.
We'll talk about it on the show.
Record it, send it to us, sudburynews@gmail.com. And we'd be happy to share it with everybody. And one thing you have to keep in mind, too, is that, Miles said if you stare at the sky long enough, you'll see anything. So
That's a good point.
That's true to some extent. I know my brother, that's right, just recently they were driving by the airport. We talked about the airport, and him and Dave were driving and saw something in the sky and thought it was just like a tower or something, those 5G towers or those
Yep.
radio towers, and thought it was just that, a blinking light, and then realized, wait a minute, that thing's not attached to anything.
It was just in the sky.
Yeah, and then you could almost see windows and everything in the thing, like it
Oh,
was
weird.
actually close enough to see this. And he says it was nothing like he's ever seen. But point I was trying to make is don't underestimate that there are also human-made crafts, largely we are not aware of because the military aren't going to release a lot of their latest technology, and they are way ahead from what we kind of know as civilians.
You think so?
I know so, for sure, yeah. Military is way ahead and advanced, and we get our understanding of it
I don't
years,
think it is,
and years
though.
later. No, I know. That's because you don't know these things. You're not supposed to.
I'm not in on it.
You're not in on it.
I remember there's this movie.
Yeah.
It was like secret agents. They go in like the back room where they have all the weapons and stuff.
Yeah,
And he's like, "Oh, we have a pen that shoots like a poison dart.
yeah.
We have like,
Oh, that's what I mean, yeah.
you know, like they have all this stuff." And then
Yeah.
he goes, "What's this?" And it looks just like a cell phone. And he goes, "Regular technology's caught up with that by now."
Yeah, exactly.
Like it used to be like
Yeah, a
the
thing.
coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
I think that's probably largely true.
And Jerome
Where-
also says near the radar base, they've had many. And that's where, again, that's why I'm saying
Maybe that's why Sudbury has so many.
Don't
'cause we have
underestimate.
the radar base.
NASA came here too, you know what I mean? And so they're also, it's northern. You can test out different things that they're working on. Radar base, that's military. Airport, that's where you launch flying vehicles from. And a lot of people are seeing things around that area. So again, don't discount it that it could be just us working on our latest technologies and things like that. But anyways, or it also could be visitors from other planets coming down and checking us out and probing us and doing all those things, right? So
Okay, so you got to listen to this. So Charles Beck, a pastor and renowned investigator of supernatural phenomena from Buffalo, was in Sudbury in 1954 to investigate the landing of a Martian spaceship on Garson Mine property. He believed Martians were interested in atomic energy and any kind of minerals and mines.
I like that. He has
So that's your answer,
He has
why
a-
he was here.
he thinks that's why they were here.
So he interviewed a 23-year-old miner
Yeah.
who had passed out at the first aid station of the mine, claiming to have witnessed and been hypnotized by creatures from outer space.
Wow.
Possibly Mars.
Oh, possibly Mars. Yes, I like
So-
this. That's why I like the guy thought
To
they were
cast
here.
doubt, yeah.
They were here for a specific reason, and I'm wondering where he came to this conclusion. Like,
Right.
they must have been here to go to Walmart. It's like, where did you get that from?
But
you know?
it gets better.
Oh,
So
okay, okay.
He says that 3 creatures left a ship.
They
and
left
And
it.
one of them delivered a message to the miner by mental telepathy.
Okay, all right.
And then he says, "I would rather be dead than relay the message." It was horrible.
That's what the miner said.
That's what this miner said.
So we never got
So-
the message that he was sent telepathically.
No, he said he would rather die. So
Oh my goodness. He's going to take that message to his grave. He's probably by now unfortunately left us.
It's
I'm
like
thinking,
kind of crazy.
wow, what would we have? How would our lives have changed if we knew this message? He was the relayer of the message and never gave it to us from beyond.
There's other stuff
This
in the
world.
article, but you're going to have to go read it.
Sudbury.com?
Yeah, Sudbury.com.
UFO. You can't miss
UFOs.
fun stuff.
I don't know. It's fun to read through, but
And I'm sorry for
count
laughing.
me skeptical.
I know there's people watching or listening. There's like they've had a dramatic experience with this, and I'm laughing. I'm sorry to do that. It's just something that, it sounds has a humorous aspect to it, but at the same time, I'm open-minded.
I'm open-minded. I
If
don't
something happens-
necessarily believe they're coming from other planets,
Okay,
but
they're from here. Like that was my.
I think it's much
My
more
whole thing.
likely they're doing like the interdimensional thing.
Oh, there you go. The portals they're working on and things. Okay,
Yeah,
got
the
that.
speed of light is just it's a tough cookie to crack.
It is. Well, by the speed of light, it might not feel like we're going to be back tomorrow, but we will be back. And it's going to take 24 hours, 23 hours now.
Yep.
We'll be right back with you on CKLU 96.7 FM and all things digital to do with that. And YouTube Live, Facebook Live. Thanks, YouTube and Facebook monitors. Nice being with you this morning. And nice being with all of our people that join us each and every day. Thank you very much. And we'll see you same time, same place tomorrow. Ciao.